Is it just a thing that on superhero shows you can't pay attention to how finance and business actually works? I mean, I know it's not what the main thrust is, but you'd think if it was so much of the story, you'd pay some attention to it. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Iron Fist, episodes 11, 12, and 13. And before we get started, yes, I know all about adaptions and the fact that things are different, and the fact that you can't do everything realistic. But you know what? Board of directors can't fire people like that. People who own 51% of the company, plus two other people who own it, some large percentage of the company, can't be ousted that easily. Money just does not work that way. The entire I'm going to transfer money and then make it look like other people doesn't work that way. Finance does not work the way they think it does. And you know what? You don't have to be a billionaire to do these things. I I understand that several of the characters are supposed to be broke and that Danny Rand is supposed to be rich, but they don't do broke right on Matt Murdock, and they definitely don't do it right on Jessica Jones. Now they can't get rich right on this. And you know what? I'm so bored with everything else going on that that's what I'm focusing on. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. And we're going to jump right into episode 11, where, you know what? Trick's on me. I asked if we were going to get to see that dragon punch finally now that we had him, the buddy, so that we could do the flashback. No, we do a flashback to right after the dragon punch, because that's what everyone cares about when they look at Iron Fist. They want to see the mental breakdown someone has immediately after a kick-ass fight with a dragon. No one wants to see the fight with the dragon. Once again, just they're ashamed of their source material is the only explanation I have. Now, we also have a little bit of TV trope fun, because it's the power of love that's going to come through and return his Iron Fist to him. I have no doubt. Now, most of this episode were spent following either Danny and his buddy getting the medical attention from Claire, or Colleen Wing having her little nervous breakdown and realizing the hand is actually the bad guys. Extra points for the fact that Claire said to her, well, if you were going to be different than the hand, why not call yourself something else, like the ear or the eye? I totally would have went with the foot, but that's because I'm an 80s geek. But okay, so we have some more flashbacks. We learn that Danny ran away, and why Danny ran away. He felt empty inside, and felt that this was the best way to relieve being empty. First the Iron Fist, and then taking the Iron Fist and running. I don't even know where they're going with this story. Like, there's so many things they could have done. They could have had him come to seek vengeance, but he didn't really. He's coming to find himself. Or my own personal thing, I think they should have had him literally be, hey, I'm the sworn enemy of the hand. He's said that, like, what, 5 times in the last 11 hours? Why doesn't he just sit there and have the origin of, I came to New York to stop the hand? And then we could go boom right into the whole plot of him having to stop the hand. And we could even have him trying to get back his company. And the whole Henry thing with, him being, I don't know, Solomon Grundy or something as a super zombie coming back. Because you can literally just say part of him defeating the hand means he needs to use corporate raider techniques and take out their power base. And as such, get back control of Rand Enterprises. It could have all fit rather well. In fact, I'm very surprised they didn't. This whole season could have been chopped down into maybe 4 or 5 episodes even, and then immediately gone into Defenders. Or they could have just introduced Iron Fist right in Defenders. Hey, I'm here to fight the hand. Seems like a pretty straightforward origin to me. But who am I? Alright, so then episode 12 starts. And right off the bat, I again am sitting there going, why wasn't this the beginning of the season? Episode 12 is what I wish the whole series was. An action-packed extraordinaire where we had clear villains and clear heroes, and the fact is that we had one of the best fights. In the middle of the rain, we had the daughter of the dragon, Colleen Wing, take on her former sensei and kick his ass. We also had some great moments of interpersonal moments between Davos, who in this version is Iron Fist's best friend, and the entire who am I, what do I do, and as the Iron Fist, do I get to choose my own destiny? And now I want you to go back to the very first episode, because that's how long you needed to wait. You needed to wait 12 hours for the payoff to this. In the park, talking to the homeless guy, Danny Rand tells him, Buddha says that our purpose in life is to find our purpose in life. And complimenting the fact that the homeless man had found his. but Danny hadn't found his yet. Well, I think we have now. Danny Rand superhero. Of course, we can't just be Danny Rand superhero, even though that's the whole concept, because we need to drag it down into, well, we're ashamed of being comic books, so we don't want superheroes running around in spandex and that sort of thing. Which again is infuriating because the MCU created the fact that you could be unashamed and just be superheroes to be superheroes. But okay. We also then have the whole thing going on with Ward and his father, and at the end of the day I wonder, why did we have to wait till episode 12 to find out exactly for sure exactly how villainous they are? Yeah, it was hinted at and there was work here and there. And we also have the fact that, just in general, the whole plotline could have been better. And I do also wonder why it is no one brought up Claire. We need to go rescue someone who's been shot. Yeah, let's not bring the superhero nurse who can kick ass because she's been training with Colleen. That would be stupid. Instead, we bring Davos, who doesn't understand what's going on. And Claire Temple is just way more badass than that and should have been there. But okay. Either way, this season is definitely ending on a high note, even if it didn't start that way. I'm just hoping that the next episode, which will be the last, is going to give us some really great big boom moment. Maybe we'll finally get to see that dragon punch. But even if not, Danny Rand is choosing his own path in life. We got to see some really awesome stuff. What do you think? Do you think episode 12 was the strongest episode? I'm hoping episode 13 ends just as well. But I get the feeling there's still a lot of legal mumbo-jumbo tied up in the fact that someone else really owns a big portion of Rand Industries, and the fact that Rand is dealing drugs, and you know what? There's a lot to go on. I wonder if Kingpin will show up. I wonder if Matt Murdock. Oh well, one episode to go. Gonna pause this taping and go see it. Episodes 12 and 13 pretty much could have been a whole separate series, for all intents and purposes. Especially episode 13. We begin with the fact that the Ironfist is on the run, and Colleen Wing is with him. And as usual, she's a better combatant than he is. Not physically in show, but out of show, the choreographing is better. I will say that that gets shown up even again here. However, the most interesting part is Hogard. And with Hogard, I'm going to explain what makes one of the best parts of the Netflix series. They thought ahead. And what do I mean by they thought ahead? Well, think about it. They knew they were doing Iron Fist, even back when they did Daredevil Season 1. They also knew Daredevil Season 1 was going to need a bunch of lawyers. They also knew that there was a lawyer in the Iron Fist story, so they cast it ahead of time. And even though Hogard only shows up here and there throughout the different series, the fact that she did show up meant that we knew who she was. Well, you know, D-Money, but whatever. It was a cool idea. And you know what? I think all of the characters could have done a little better at being integrated that way. There's part of me that wishes we had more characters like Hogard that brought everything together. And yes, we'll get to the Night Nurse. However, yet another problem with the pacing of this series is a good thing mixed with a bad thing. In order to make more well-rounded villains, we had the fact that, much like a post-Martin world, where we have people that are both good and bad, depending on what's only in their self-interest, and based on how their characters are portrayed, we have the two siblings, and we have their father, and at the end of the day, they just weren't villain enough to carry this. They made them too well-rounded. We could have, back at the beginning of the series, maybe done something if we had had another villain. But if you look at the through lines of all of the shows, you need someone to root against. And I'm still kind of pissy that we never got to see him punch a dragon. Yeah, we had the flashback with the eyes at the end, but again, that was a little too late. What we mostly had was incoherent and messy, and could have been done a lot better if they had given it another pass. I honestly think that we could have gotten to the point where we rooted for some of these characters a little more. You know who came off the best, though? The Night Nurse. The night nurse always comes off awesome. But the fact that they didn't use her as a love interest at all like they did in Luke Cage, they just kept her being Claire. I think it was cool. Now, after having wrapped up this whole season, there's part of me that wants to do my good, the bad, the ugly right now. But there's also part of me that says, no, this is too fresh in your mind. There are some themes here that they really tried to work in, especially the anger control issues, to finding your place in the universe, which is, of course, a universal theme, to the fact of the mommy and daddy issues, especially daddy. Like, the daddy issues really kind of came through here solidly. But there were things that I think were missed opportunities, too. Especially with Colleen Wing, we really missed the opportunity of exactly what is brainwashing and what isn't. I will say, they did an excellent job in this series of answering a question that gets asked all the time, both in comic bookdom, cartoons, movies, TV shows, every story imaginable. Where do you get the villains? Where do you get, not the big supervillain, but the henchmen? Where do hand get their hand ninjas? Where do the League of Assassins get their shadowy assassins? Well, in this we get the answer. Colleen Wing. She's a good person trying to do a good thing that was convinced that the Hand were the good guys. And in her mind, they were. They were people who were elevating people. They were going to help this person, and they got this person a job as an intern and going to get her to go to law or medical school and become a doctor. And you know what? That's exactly what we need. We need someone to sit there and say, hey, where do these bad guys come from? Everyone thinks they're the hero of their own story. Bushido should have been the villain through the series. He should have showed up by episode 4 or 5, the latest, and he should have been there the whole way. He's the villain we needed. He's someone who can sit there and say, hey, look, the world's a crappy place, I'm trying to make it better, and here's how. But in reality, just be hand manipulation the whole time. I expect we'll see him again, because it's not like Hand leadership has a lack of the ability to come back from the dead. Now, moving forward, there was one last thing. I really thought when they went back to Kung Lao, I was ready to scream. I'm like, no, no. But by having it be missing, allows for him and Colleen to come back and form the Defenders. And I think that's cool. What do you think? Do you think that's the excuse they're going to use? They need someone to help them figure out where Kung Lao is, and they need to defeat the Hand to do it? Well, I'll put up maybe another video in between now and Defenders, but for now I'm going to ask you to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, because I'd like to build a community. One that's not brainwashed and Hand-like at all. Or maybe I do want brainwashed, huh? Anyway, as we take a walk through all of the hearts of the stories we tell. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.